Welcome back to Uptown Charlotte, North Carolina, home of the 2026 ACC football kickoff as we roll on in the afternoon portion of day one. We got 5 teams coming through and plenty of guests coming up in this 1 o'clock Eastern hour. Tavita Pritchard coming up at 1:30 here on set, the new Stanford head coach. And then the commish, Jim Phillips, at 1:45. And then a couple of NC State Wolfpack players will be joining Jason to play a couple of games and ask the really tough questions around the corner from this set. Let's talk about the Cardinal out on the West Coast, their off-season storylines. On November 28th, General Manager Andrew Luck hired his former teammate and friend Tavita Pritchard to be the Bradford M. Freeman Director of Football, aka the head coach. In early January, then, some more decision-making. Quarterback Davis Warren transferred in from Michigan. He went 6-3 as a starter in 2024 before missing last season with an ACL injury. The Cardinal opened the season against Hawaii, a rematch of last year. They dropped it. I am sure they'd love to get a win back. For the first time, these teams will be playing on the farm at Stanford Stadium. The following week, they open up ACC play against Miami, where the ACC huddle will be. Let's send it into the press conference room where Stanford right now and head coach Tavita Pritchard is taking the podium.
Hello, everyone. Tavita Pritchard, head coach. First of all, thank you for having us to the ACC, to the city of Charlotte. We've enjoyed our time here so far. We expect that to continue. So we're grateful to be here. We're excited to compete this season. And as I was thinking about kind of the message for today, and not just in here, but throughout all of our activities and conversations that we will have, I was thinking about what I want you to know about this team, about these players. We have a roster full of competitors. We have a building full of competitors. We have a staff full of competitors. And what I'm most excited about is attacking this season with a bunch of competitors. And the way that we're going to approach our work is with that mindset, is with the mindset that we're going to come into the building every single day with an energy and a focus that is intent on building a championship process with championship people. Here at Stanford, to build a championship, we know that that's going to take a lot of hard work, and we're clear-eyed about that. We know that that work will be done in the meeting rooms. We know that it'll be done especially on the practice field, and I know our guys are excited and energized by that. When I think about the ACC and the conference that we're in, it's going to be a challenge, and we know that winning football games, period, is a challenge. It's hard. It is hard work. And this will be no different. We had 7 teams in the ACC last year with 9+ wins. We had 9 teams with 8+ wins and 11 bowl teams. And so we are well aware of the challenges that lie in front of us, and we are, again, excited and energized by those challenges in front of us. So, again, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for these young men that sit up here that are representatives of our great university and football team. And at this point, I'd like to open up for questions.
Coach, thank you. Your first question will come from the right side, 4th row. Folks, please identify yourselves and the media outlet that you are with, please.
Katrina Sackins, Sports and Culture Media. Coach, how are you?
Hi there. How are you?
Good. Coach, there's a phrase that says, "My barn having burned down, I can see the moon now." And with the re-entrance of you and people are seeing this program in a new light, how does your history in Palo Alto contribute to this new light of this program?
I've never heard that phrase before. My barn having burned down. We do not have that one on the West Coast, and I didn't hear it my 3 years in the DC area. Okay, my barn having burned down. You know what? I'm so excited to be back at my alma mater, and again, to be doing it with a group of people that were attracted to Stanford and chose Stanford for a reason. And, you know, we're very excited. I'm very excited and appreciative, not just for these young men, but a number of our people, starting with the roster that, you know, we lost single digits worth of transfer portal entries. And for that reason, we brought in a small amount. And the staff that we brought in chose Stanford for our current state. And so much of what I've learned in my time away from Stanford are a lot about the themes that I learned while at Stanford, which is we have a tight-knit community. We have a tight-knit group, again, that is attracted to our university and our football team because they want to be excellent. We have a strong belief in the saying at Stanford that how you do anything is how you do everything. And we don't believe that because I want to be a great student and get an elite degree that my life as a football player, my career as a football player has to suffer. We believe that you can do both, that you can do it all. And these guys are representative of that. So how does my past experience help me? It is an understanding that what many perceive as challenges at our university and in our program, I see as strengths. I see as being the pathway and the reason that we will build this program up to be a championship program.
Coach, to your left side, fourth row, all the way against the wall.
Owen Hillman, the league winners. What do you want the identity of the Stanford team to be?
Competitors. You heard me say it. But what Stanford football has always been full of, what the university is full of, are competitors. And let's not misunderstand what competing means. It doesn't necessarily mean that I need an opponent, that I need a winner and a loser. Oftentimes it does mean that, but it means being your best self every single day. And our university lives that out. Right? You have companies being started. You have Olympians in our athletic facility. You have guys who will go on and have NFL careers. Championships have been won here in the past. They will be won again. And because of that, it's all born out of how we compete, how we show up every day with energy and focus. And our guys are going to live that. They already have. I mean, I think about our spring ball that we went through, our 15 practices, the way that these guys approached that and came out every single day. There was an energy. It was palpable, right? The belief that they have that we can do something special this year is out there, and they're living it every single day.
Coach, right side, fourth row, all the way against the wall.
Coach Ryan Castle with Sons of Saturday. How are you today?
I'm great, Ryan. How are you?
Doing well. You have a unique organizational structure at Stanford with Andrew being the GM. Obviously, you have a past relationship with him, but what's it been like working with him so far? And what is the overall vision from a player acquisition recruiting standpoint moving forward for Stanford?
Yeah, Andrew and I got to hit the fast forward button, so to speak, on our working relationship because we have a history together. You know, I have a trust and a love and a respect for Andrew from our time together as teammates, competitors, and then you know, continuing on in our careers as I went to coach and he went to play in the NFL. So much of what we do, we work together hand in hand on. And you know, when this role opportunity came about, you know, Andrew said to me, he said, "Hey, I really need somebody to come in and coach football and hire a staff and develop players." And I love to do that. That's why I coach. You know, there are so many things outside of those things in being a head coach that I'm less excited about, and things that I know Andrew does a great job of owning. And so the way that our structure is set up is we are a two-headed monster, so to speak, sitting atop our program, and we work really closely hand in hand. And Andrew said this recently on an interview, and I guess now here I sit saying it publicly as well. Andrew said, "I talk to Tavita more than I talk to my wife," and that may be true because we communicate a lot, because we believe that so much of what we do in setting up systems of support for these guys and making sure that they have what they need every day is making sure that we're aligned. We're aligned on the vision, we're aligned on the standard, aligned on the value so that we can make the best decisions for our team and our program and these guys going forward.
Coach, right side, still first row, right in front of you.
Coach Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. You've spoken about this program, what you're excited about and looking forward to. The foundational pillars of a Pritchard-run program, what are some of those pillars that you are going to build this house on at Stanford?
Yeah, Dan. Competition, said that one. Connection and commitment. Those are the three, and three that we'll build our program on, and ones, as I've already mentioned a couple. I guess I can zero in on connection for you because one thing that I know to my core is that the team with the strongest connection has the best chance to win. And of course, there are other things that go into that, but we are going to be a team and a program that finds a way in the margins to win football games. We're going to play complementary football, but one of those margins I know that we can make up a lot of ground is how we connect with each other, how we play for each other, how we trust each other. And so that's certainly going to be a hallmark of the teams that we put out there on Saturdays and Fridays.
Coach, follow the center aisle up just to the left, fourth row.
Hi, Coach. Gatsby Good from Tiger Vision. I know you mentioned that you wanted to establish a winning culture here in the ACC, but is there one particular game that you and your team maybe have circled that you are really hungry for a win at?
Do you want the most coach speak answer today? The most important game is the first game. There it is. Yeah, no, we're very excited about August 29th against University of Hawaii. We have a lot of work to do before that day arrives. But again, so much of what we're going to do and the value that we're going to put on how we prepare is what we do on the practice field. And so much of our preparation is going to be geared towards making sure that we throw really, really effective, high-energy practices every opportunity that we get. And so that next opponent is the most important, and that can't be overstated.
Coach, right side, second row. We'll bounce here with these two gentlemen.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On Podcast Network. Coach Pritchard, this is your first head coaching experience of any kind, and normally when we see people make that jump from an assistant to a Power 4 head coach, there's a bit of an adjustment, learning period, struggles along those lines. So how do you kind of prevent that and mitigate that? Is that something that you've done through your staff? Is that something that you've done through studying others who've done it before you? What does that look like in your version of, I want to defeat the first-time head coach blues?
Yeah, no. Every coach was a first-time head coach at one point, and you are 100% right. Like, what is the best way to mitigate the pitfalls that may arise? I consider myself a lifelong learner, and part of that is making sure that I stay curious and I stay open to different ways of doing things, and knowing and understanding that I don't know everything. And you mentioned the staff. Andrew and I believe, have built a world-class staff, and that's our football coaches, that's our support staff around, and it's really finding those experts that you trust, that you believe are a part of your ethos and living that out every day, and then you trust them to go. And so, not micromanaging, I have a strong belief in the saying that all of us are smarter than one of us. So as a head coach, I think what's most important is that I have the humility to say, like, I don't know it all, and that I'm going to make mistakes, because that is true. Now, mitigating that as much as we can is the name of the game, but there will be a learning curve. There will be failures, so to speak, and I think the biggest thing for me is making sure that we learn from them and we move on.
The gentleman right next to him, Coach, still the right side.
Hey, Coach. Thomas Christopher of the League Winners. Cal and Stanford are unique in that they're West Coast teams playing in the ACC. Has there been any type of special preparation or routine going in place for some of those long-distance East Coast travel trips?
Yeah, very much so. Having come from the NFL recently, we did some cross coast-to-coast trips. And so making sure that we're exhausting all of our resources when it comes to research and making sure that we're giving these guys the best chance to go out there and play well every game day. So absolutely, there's special consideration for trips across multiple time zones, and we need to make sure that we give these guys every chance possible to play their best ball. And so, whether that's what they were getting there, the kind of nutrition they're getting, what we're doing on the plane for those longer flights, that's for sure a consideration. It's something that, I'm not a stranger to, having just come from the NFL.
Coach, I think we're going to be able to squeeze in one more question. Gentleman in the gold shirt has been patient in the back, so we'll see if we can get him.
Hey, Coach, Bruce Marshall from Sports Byline USA. I've watched Stanford since John Ralston was there.
Okay.
And Coach Christensen, Coach Green, Coach Willingham, Jack Elway. But Stanford always had, even as progressive as they were with Coach Walsh and Coach Ralston, able to run.
Yep.
And that's what Coach Shaw did and Coach Harbaugh did. That identity has been missing the last couple of years. What can you do to get that back, and how important is that element to getting Stanford back to where you want it to be?
I was trying to glance over as you're asking that question to Micah Ford, our running back, to see about his excitement about this question about running the football. Let me first say I appreciate that question, especially thinking about the legacy of not just coaches but great history that comes before us in the Stanford program. It is something that we hope to build on, that legacy, and make sure that we are great stewards of that. And when it comes to identity and offensive identity, we're going to play a physical brand of football. And we're going to have a toughness about us. And it's something that I know Stanford men in particular, to be champions, have to be tough. And it's a brand of football that we have to play. When I mention energy and focus, Stanford guys, they possess a toughness, I believe, unlike others, because of what they've been asked to do throughout their lives, not just on the football field, but beyond. And their ability to focus through adversity, through physical, mental pain and stress is different. And it's something that we're going to promote and lean into. And when it comes to the run game, the pass game, we're going to be physical. To a large degree, we're going to do what we have. You mentioned Coach Walsh, who obviously for us, like he's on our Mount Rushmore, right? A guy who's meant so much to this game of football, but certainly to Stanford football. He was innovative. So much of what he did was about kind of bucking the trends in football at the time, and we're going to look to do the same. And so without giving you our entire game plan, we're going to put pressure on the defense. And I would say this, my version of balance, how I view it, is balance comes from the ability to run the football and the threat of running the football. So Micah's going to get some work this year, right? But our quarterback, be it Davis or one of our other guys, will they'll also be at the helm, making sure that we're putting so much pressure on the defense, making sure that we're attacking those guys and keeping them on their heels.
Coach, Micah looks like he's ready to run through a wall now, so why don't you guys switch spots, and we'll put Micah at the podium for a few minutes.
Last year, interim head coach Frank Reich guided Stanford to its highest win total in 5 seasons. Tavita Pritchard looking to build on that in his first year. We're going to take a quick break here, live from Charlotte, but we'll head back to the press conference room in a bit to hear from the Cardinal players. Stay with us as we roll on from kickoff.
And highly blessed to get
Welcome back to ACC Kickoff as we roll on the press conference
Micah,
room.
right
Let's
side,
send it in.
third
There's
row.
Micah Ford, the running back for Stanford. We'll hear from a couple of the players right now.
Sports Media. How do you feel about the running back room this year, being one of the leaders and its strengths right now?
Running back room is great, man. We have Seth Irvin, Chris Davis, Tuna Altier, Champ Hampton. We're all strong backs, all different at different things, versatile. And at the end of the day, we all can be trusted out there no matter what happens. So just to know that you have guys in the room that have your back, and no matter if you go down or if you're up, it's definitely a great feeling.
Micah, follow the center aisle all the way up to the right, gentleman in the hat.
Hi, Micah. Scott Morgan on South Florida Tribune. Last year, you had the opportunity to work for Frank Reich, obviously a proven NFL guy. What was it like to work under Coach Frank Reich? You know, obviously, the guy orchestrated one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history. Were you able to learn a lot about the NFL and life with a guy like him actually being able to tutor you? Because I don't think there's too many offensive minds better than him and the way he handles things from a life standpoint.
Yeah, no, for sure. Coach Reich, his thing, he was very big on his faith and his Christianity, which I really liked about that because I'm also big in those things as well. So just to kind of get that, that older experience of things and, that NFL mindset, like you said, and he kind of taught us, like, what it takes and the different things that they do at that level. And it was very interesting to get his perspective of things.
Stay on the right side, Micah, second row.
Kenton Gibbs with the Locked On Podcast Network. Mike, are you aware of the fact that when you go over 100 yards in your Stanford career, you all are 500? When you have not reached that mark, it's been a significantly worse record. So as Coach has said, you touching the ball means something. How do you stay healthy with your physical running style and that expectation of you've got to carry some of this load, brother?
Yep. In terms of my role in this team, I'm well aware of the piece I do play in this team and what I have to do in order for us to win. It's definitely a matter of just me staying healthy and definitely been taking care of that in the weight room, off the field, just making sure I'm putting the right things in my body in terms of food and stuff along those lines, and then just staying in the weight room and making sure, I'm taking preventative actions, so I can stay healthy all throughout 12 games or if even more.
Micah, right side, first row.
Micah, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. What does a Davis Warren-led offense look like? I know he's right over your shoulder.
Yeah,
but
for sure. No, I'm definitely not scared, man. Nothing bad to say about that. Nothing bad to say about that guy, man. It just feels secure. It feels trusted. It feels a space where you can, play freely and you're not really, tight. Like, you can relax and drop your shoulders because at the end of the day, we got one of the best quarterbacks in the country leading our team, and I'm excited, and I mean that. I'm excited to get to work with him. He's a wise guy when it comes to football. You can see the work he puts in, and I know the type of year he's about to have, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Micah, center aisle up to the left, young lady there.
Micah Gatsby Good from Tiger Vision. What's one goal that you have set for yourself this season that might not show up on the stat sheet?
I would like to stay away from setting the goals. I like to take it, game by game and just kind of play what it is. Because at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, and you can't really, get mad at yourself for not reaching that goal because maybe that day you just weren't supposed to and it's supposed to come. But I definitely say, definitely want to catch the ball more out the backfield. But we'll get that situated for sure. Coach got something cooking.
Micah, thank you. You and Jay can switch spots. Jay Green will spend a few minutes with you. Folks, again, please identify yourselves and the outlet that you are with, and we'll spend about 5 minutes with Mr. Green, who would like the first question. We'll go right side, Jay, all the way to the wall here, third row.
Hi, Des Barnes, Pretty Girls Media. What is one piece of advice that you've received from any coach that has helped define your football career?
I would say that the game comes down to wins and losses, and the work is all done in the preparation. At first, I thought it was just kind of you just go out there and everybody just play, of course, scoring up. But I think football is very simple. One team is trying to stop the other team is trying to stop the other. So it's like it just comes down to winning and losses.
Jay, we're going to stay on the right in front of her in the second row here.
Jay, Thomas Christopher of the League Winners. You ended up signing an endorsement deal with Nike. Can you just talk about, looking back as a kid, like how it feels to be in this moment, and did you ever expect that to happen?
I mean, yeah, I think that's every kid's dream, of course. I know growing up, Nike schools were the biggest schools, of course, like Oregon and stuff like that and things like that. So I was very fortunate to sign that, and I'm grateful for the situation, and I think I fulfilled my childhood dream when it comes to that.
Jay, left side, fourth row, all the way against the wall.
Owen Hillman, the League Winners. How have you been trying to grow and develop as a leader for this defense?
Right. I feel like growing as a leader in defense is it's not up to me, I would say. I think it's more up to my teammates and how they view me as a player, or not even a player, as a person, you know what I mean? So I think it's important for me to encourage the young guys to come up with me and watch tape, or like I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I think it's important for me to bring guys with me on the field and teach those guys how to do things. And this thing is like a process. It's almost like scrambling eggs and stuff like that. I think you got to take it really one day at a time, and you got to get the finished product.
Jay, right side, second row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On Podcast Network. Jay, you were a member of that Washington team that went to a national championship, and now you're on a Stanford team that not only historically but as of late has not seen that level of success. What type of winning habits and whatnot have you taken from that team and tried to, insert into not only your game but as a leader, saying, hey, I've been there, I've seen this. This is what a championship mindset looks like.
Yeah, I think it's important in this example to lead by example, if anything. I think I can, of course, tell people, hey, I was on that team that went to the Natty. Okay, well, that necessarily means nothing to someone at that certain extent. I think it's important to show people that my actions, that's how you win games. That's how you upbring young cats into the locker room. That's how you progress your room as far as the DBs and into being a top room in the country. You know what I mean? So I feel like just doing my part as being vocal, of course, but also leading by example, I think is more important.
Jay, we'll go right side, first row.
Jay, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Chris Richard being the director of defense and the DB's coach, working with him so closely, just what you can say about his style, his presence, and what you feel like this defense is going to look like.
Yeah, he brings a certain type of energy to a room that he's kind of a force in a room. When he walks in the room, he's there. So I'm grateful as a DB, of course, like picking his brain every single day and just kind of understanding the schemes of what offense are going to do or necessarily what we're going to see. You know what I mean? He's been coaching at a high level for a very long time, so it's not many things that come across his plate that he doesn't know about. So I'm grateful to have him in my back pocket, and I use him as more of a resource and just to learn him as a guy. I think is good too.
Jay, your last question from the podium. Last year, you had a 49-yard scoop and score. Do you think about such opportunities pregame?
I mean, of course, I always try to see, what big play I can make. I didn't see that one before the game, of course, but I'm blessed that it happened. It was a good moment to share with my teammates and, of course, the fans out there at Stanford football, and I wish many more moments happen like that in big games too.
Jay, thank you. You and Davis can switch spots, and we'll spend the last 5 minutes with the Cardinal with Davis Warren. Folks, if you would, please raise your hand high, and we'll get to as many questions as we can.
All right. We are taking this show on the road, as we do every year. ACC Huddle begins Tuesday, August 3rd, road trip where we go to all 17 schools to practice to give you an inside look at what's going on before the season actually kicks off later in the month. We will be going out west, not just for this road trip, but for week 1 of the college football season. There's the new head coach of the Cardinal, Tavita Pritchard, who played there. Now he's the leading man. We're going to talk to him here on set, live from Charlotte, North Carolina, as Kickoff continues. Tavita Pritchard is back at his alma mater as the head coach.
When I think about this program today and look at the remarkable young men on this team, I feel hopeful and I feel ready. And while I had a singular dream to be the head coach here at
Tavita Pritchard is back at his alma mater as the head coach.
When I think about this program today and look at the remarkable young men on this team, I feel hopeful and I feel ready. And while I had a singular dream to be the head coach here at Stanford, I needed to leave and stretch and learn in order to realize that dream.
It's personal, right? Anytime that a guy played there, coached there, knows that it's different.
Tavita Pritchard returns to the farm after 3 seasons with the Washington Commanders organization. He was an assistant with the Cardinal from 2010 to 2022, including leading the offense in his last 5 seasons before going off to the NFL. In his playing days, Pritchard played at quarterback at Stanford, winning his first ever start against number 2 USC in 2007. Joins us now, and I'm going to give you a little pop quiz. Do you know your stats from that game, Coach?
Oh, you better. They can't have been good. I do not think they were good. Here's the stat. We won.
That's all you need to know.
And that's the number one stat for a quarterback is do you lead your team to victory? So I'm going to stand on that one.
There you go, 24-23, the final. You threw for 149.
Okay.
You got sacked 4 times, but again, the dub. That's all that matters.
We got that dub. I can't say it was their fault, though. There was no way. There's no shot.
And you come full circle. You're now the head coach at your alma mater. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Second of all, this is your first time doing this whole song and dance.
Yes.
How are we doing so far?
Oh, not bad. It's a great event. You know, they keep us busy, and we're going kind of from station to station, and now here we are with you all. So appreciate you having me on.
He asked me what number is this. I said, I have no idea. We just keep going.
You just keep rolling.
We just roll.
Coach, I heard the vision for the program. It was 3 C's. I caught 2 of them. It was commitment, competition. What's the third one?
Connection.
Okay.
Connection. Yeah. So much of, I think, what I was able to learn going away to the NFL, you know, when you go through your football journey, obviously you pick up so many things along the way as a player and then as a coach. I have always been convicted by the team culture around how we connect with each other, the camaraderie, the trust and love that we have for each other. It's something that's core to what I believe as a human being, right? And just like how I got along as in my family. I come from a large family, a Samoan background where family is everything. And when I went away to the NFL in 2024, we went to the NFC Championship game with Dan Quinn, Jaden Daniels, Marcus Mariota, Zach Ertz, and so much of that team's personality was how we connected, was how we got along together and trusted each other and played for each other. And so I knew seeing it, getting a glimpse of it on the highest level, I'm now more convicted than ever that that's a way that you win in the margins, and how you build a championship team and a championship program, and frankly, how you raise leaders. Because if we have guys who understand the commitment to forming connection, to working together, to having humility, to say like, man, I don't have all the answers. Like, let me lean on you, let me support you, and let me uplift you. Like, I think that's everything.
Coach, walk us through getting to Stanford. The call, the process, what was it like for you? Was it expected once the change happened? Just what was that whole process like for you?
You know what? Andrew and I go back a long ways, of course. And so many of those conversations, when they started, were two friends talking, and two friends who have a love for our university and a belief that with the success that our program has had in its history and the great legacy that's been proven over time, so much of our conversation was centered around how do we make it successful again? Whether or not I became the guy who was the head coach, what was that going to look like? What was the vision for that? So as those conversations progressed and turned into an interview process, and ultimately me joining in this role, that was the culmination of a vision that was being formed between Andrew and I. And now, as we sit atop the program, now it's us implementing that vision, and now it's us getting to go to work and get our hands dirty in hiring the people and putting the team of people together that we know are going to help realize this this next chapter in Stanford football history.
Who did you lean on to help you make that decision? Because eventually, I'm sure you wanted to get home, but how'd you know this was the right time?
Yeah, my wife Caroline. She's such a strong, wise voice in my life, and as we looked at, we met at Stanford, so obviously she has a lot of the same love for our university that I do, but the coaching career and profession is an interesting thing, right? There are guys that jump from place to place, and for so much of my career that was at Stanford as a coach from 2010 to 2022, it was really characterized by staying at one place. And then obviously I jumped to the NFL and was there in Washington for a few years. And then this opportunity came, and it was a chance to, move again. And so there was a decision. There was a decision to say, hey, is this where, I want the career to go? And more than anything, I believe we're on a mission right now. We're on a mission to ensure the success of the continued success of Stanford football. Because again, there is a legacy, there is a tradition. We know that so many of those who have come before us, we're building on that. And we want to make sure that we're great stewards of the Stanford football tradition. And we want to make sure we're doing our part to realize that.
And how do you get back to that? I mean, just as the head guy, and how it was when you were there, and when I was in college, and I think of McCaffrey, and just how they're going to line up in 3 tight end sets, and they're going to run the football, and just all this stuff that maybe it works now, maybe it doesn't. What's your vision to maybe not quickly, but there's a sense of urgency to be back to that?
Well, you go back to those 3 C's, right? We talked about connected, competitive. To drill down on that one. And look, these are words that I think any coach or program would be like, yeah, we want to be competitive.
Right, of course.
But when I think about Stanford and I think about the successful teams that we've had, both in my time as a player and as a coach, they were characterized by not just individuals, but a team that understood the value of competition. Most so in the sense that competition is really about who you are every day, right? What kind of energy, what kind of focus you bring to the building. And Stanford is full of those people, right? You think about the great accomplishments that Stanford people, not just athletes, have made across different industries that have come out of Stanford. That is the Stanford ethos. So when we now zoom into Stanford football, what does that look like? We want guys who are passionate about football. We use a phrase at Stanford that Stanford loves lopsided people. Right? People who have a well-roundedness to them, but they have something that they're passionate about, that they love. For us, it's football. Yeah. We want guys who are passionate about the game, who want to be great, who want to be elite quarterbacks and elite defensive backs and elite coaches, right? Because we get pushed as coaches every day. They go across campus and they get taught in econ and in communications and in this, that, and the other by the world-class professors. We have to do our part, right? We got to teach football at that level. We need people in our building, players, staff, that they want to be champions. They want to be excellent and great.
What did you see in Davis Warren that made you feel like he was the guy to lead the charge for the program?
Yeah, leader. So much of what we talk about with quarterbacks is their affect, their presence. When they walk into a room, do you feel them? Mm-hmm. Davis is that guy, right? If you spend a little bit of time talking to Davis, you feel his presence. Wow. Because what's the difference between that and walking into the huddle? Because when you walk into the huddle and you call a play, that offensive line, that running back, that tight end, those receivers, they better believe that play is going to work. And so much of that has to do with the energy that you exude and the message that you convey. And so with Davis, it's an affect, it's an energy. And then, of course, the film's got to bear out. He's accurate. He processes information. I believe that he's a guy that can drive our offense forward because he makes great decisions. And, again, he can lead. He can operate the offense because he's assertive and he knows what has to be done.
Obviously, when you were going, through this process, what you knew as a player, what you knew as a former coach, but for the future, what do you think is going to be so attractive about Stanford? What's going to set Stanford apart in this new world order that we're walking into?
What's interesting is I think in this new world, the tendency is to want to go, okay, how do we need to continue to change and become more modern? We have to become more modern at Stanford, but in a lot of ways, we got to lean into the old school. We got to lean into the value prop that Stanford has always been. And I say that knowing that there's a tension there. Like, we have to make sure that we are being progressive and thinking and evolving in the NIL space, in the portal space. But in the things that make Stanford unique, we have to go harder into, right? That it is a lifetime decision, that it is a place where we believe you can come here, get a world-class degree, and play world-class football. And that is not a zero-sum game. Those are not competing things. Right. That's something that we believe we're going to get better football players if they're passionate about football, if they bring that to the table while they're going and getting that degree because of how they push themselves in their lives every single day. So that's what we're going to do is we're going to lean harder into the uniquenesses of Stanford and what some people perceive as challenges with our admissions, right? The fact that we do recruit nationally because we have to, but I see that as a strength. Right, because now all of a sudden we bring a bunch of people together under a common vision, a common goal that, like, I'm coming to Stanford with a purpose on a mission to come be excellent.
Coach, I heard you talk a lot about the running game and we're going to be physical. What about the playmakers, right? Yeah. Who are going to be the guys that are out there making plays for you on Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, for sure. Really excited, and obviously, like, with competition being that's our magic, that's our secret sauce. We're going to see in training camp, right? Micah Ford is here. I know Micah Ford has already what he's done at the running back position. I think about the tight ends, the great tight ends that we've had at Stanford. Benji Blackburn, right, was a younger guy last year. He moves into a more veteran role and a guy that we're going to look to have some production at the tight end position. And then we think about our playmakers outside. Caden High is our slot receiver that made some hay last year that we were going to look to be a playmaker. Jordan Anavwe, right, is an older guy who was a transfer, right, extremely physical, extremely tough. We're going to look for him to get in there, do some dirty work, but also go and make some plays for us in the passing game. So really excited about some of the different guys that have a chance to contribute to our offense, but I know there's going to be names that I didn't say that cream is going to rise to the top when we get to training camp, and that's what I'm most excited for because of our belief in competition.
I don't know about you guys. I'm ready to run through the wall.
Let's go. You're ready to come to Palo Alto.
Let's go. And we're coming.
Let's go.
We're coming to your city. Week 1, we'll be there Friday night.
We'll find a better place. I'm telling you that right now.
We've been and we love it, and we can't wait to be back. Coach, thank you so much, and we're excited to follow you this season.
Thanks, Taylor. Appreciate you.
All right, still plenty more to come here from ACC Kickoff. The man, the myth, the legend, Commissioner Jim Phillips is waiting in the wings to join me up here on set to talk all things important in the college football world and college football landscape in general. Tiebreaker situation, big announcement this morning. Back with more live from the Queen City after this.